Sex Positive Podcast, episode number 5. Today is Monday, June the 22nd. Hopefully you guys don't have too much background noise. It's really, really hot outside today, so I'm inside of my car doing this. It's a lot easier. There's not as much noise inside of the house, screaming kids, stuff like that. Not my kids, my roommates' kids. Thank God I don't have any kids. So, I was asking you guys, what are your thoughts on love, sex, dating, relationships? So I got an interesting comment, and here it goes. A man approaches me at a store. You have a lot of tattoos. I reply, yes, I do. I love collecting art. Man then says, I hear heavily tattooed women need a lot of sex, and you're a redhead too. Damn. I then reply, fascinating. I read a psychology article the other day that talked about men and inappropriately bringing up sex. The research said they were battling sexuality and struggling with self-esteem over the size of their genitals. Do you think there's a correlation? Man then snaps back. I didn't figure you'd be such a bitch. I wouldn't touch that anyways. Me. Perfect. I'd highly advise against it. I might steal your soul, and honestly, what would you do that? Have a great day. Where did all the creativity go with pickup lines? She says. I forget who actually... That's actually a real life situation that happened to one of my friends, and I find it interesting. I don't realize that this happens to a lot of people, that dudes or girls will just come up to people and say whatever crazy ass shit's on their mind, and so it's interesting. And then I asked that person, what would you kind of like? So here's her discourse. Of course I would like. I'm rarely rude, and I'm flattering when someone is genuinely nice. I really won't entertain a conversation. I politely decline of if I'm asked out, state that I'm flattered, but I'm in a relationship. I'm not one of those girls who flips out if you say hi or think so highly of myself that everyone who does is interested. Quite frankly, that is just conceited. I do, however, think that there's a certain rule of respect when speaking to someone. So that's her thoughts. Here's Kyle Lexica's. I'm not really sure if I know her real name. But here goes. I'm sorry, but this whole gender and sexuality thing is passing me by today. I just wanted to share with you how uncomfortable, and probably the best word to use is, I am better when it comes at being interested in men. And to get something straight, I am very interested in men on an emotional and physical level, just as I am with women. But the idea that I have to be more feminine for a man, whether they truly wish it or not, constantly runs through my head. And I just wanted to say that it's messed up how societal norms and gender socialization affects your behavior and comfort. I think it's pretty cool. Because I've met some interesting, ladies, you'd call them tomboys, or whatever you want to call them, but they're just more affirmative and masculine in their actions, which does that take away their portion of sexuality and feminism? Their femininity within themselves as a human being? And the same goes for dudes. I've met some dudes that were, on the more feminine side, but they actually like chicks. And they actually get more of them than most bro dudes with their cool hats turned backwards and sweet chest tattoos and neck tats. Some sort of angel, eating a dragon or something like that. It's different, and I don't know. We have to think about it on a daily basis. So I've been listening to the Fuckonomics podcast. They're on episode number 4 or 5. So we're kind of tagging along on this podcasting journey. If you haven't listened to my other podcasts, Fuckonomics is a podcast. Basically, it's like gore humor in a way of the economics of sex and dating. and the realities of what it is to be. They're men, all three men, although one's transgendered, I think. I'm not really sure. I'm kind of confused by that part. But from a male perspective on dating and what it's like to be a man, and on their last episode, which I'm only halfway listening to it, they're talking about dating and how if you're in a long-term relationship, it's in your best interest to share on the economics of your dates. So the homeostasis that they've found is the 60-20 or 80-20 of, the guy mainly paying for dates and, the woman paying for another 20% or 30%, which makes a lot more sense. And in their mindset, they're talking about how the woman still has the gratification of, helping out, because obviously dudes aren't made of money. But if you are, that's fine. You can throw out your money as much as you want. But there should be some sort of homeostasis that's there. There should be an equilibrium of equality within a relationship. And the economics comes a way big part of it. Because as they were talking about on the podcast, a lot of us dudes will say, oh, sorry, I really don't want to go out and go do anything. And then we end up going with our buddies and, where we only have to pay for ourselves. And then your buddy pays for the rest of his meals. And that's part we have to start accepting within our society, that the gender roles have now switched. Our economy is shitty. Most people have 2 to 3 jobs or more. We all have to more or less take on a community role within our relationships with our friends and our families, because we don't live in a society anymore where, the dude works at an ad agency and he's making, $200,000 a year, and, his wife's knocked up with, twins, and there's 4 kids at home, and you come home to some sort of casserole that's hot on the stove. I mean, that doesn't exist anymore. I'm sure there's people that do that, but in reality, we need more of a community-based society, in my opinion, where dating in a way is shared. So you would have 5 or 6 couples all putting in their money and going to, say, like a family restaurant where everybody's throwing down money at the same time. And at a community level, that makes 10 times more sense. Because, number one, a dude isn't getting ostracized for his certain lack of money that he has. And the woman's not getting ostracized either, because she's able to push in her amount of money that she has as well. It's a little bit different than their idea, but I think that it works. And I think that it's something that, we all should take a look at within our daily lives, and what we're doing to, affect the relationships that we have and the kind of dating that we want. So it's an idea. Definitely hope you guys throw down your comments. Tell us what you'd like to talk about in the next episode. Episode 6 should be a lot of fun. Might give some other dating ideas, other tips. I haven't been on a date in about 2 weeks, so I'm looking forward to moving out to Colorado. There's some interesting people out there that I'd like to meet. This whole DC dating thing I'm not a fan of. It's not my thing. But tell me what you think about dating. What are your ideas? What do you like? What do you don't like? What do you think about money in dating? Should money even be an issue? Should women just pay half and half? Or should it be, 80-20? What are your ideas? Let me know. Sex Positive Podcast. Y'all have a great